room charging. See what NEPA did to me yesterday. If you know, you people would I have made much progress? At whose cost? All of our cost. So the first thing we learned how to do is learn how to communicate and build trust. Okay? Now, having done that, we sit ourselves in a room and we ask ourselves, where are the pain points in Nigeria? What is causing pain in Nigeria? As simple as that. What is causing pain in Nigeria? Okay. Is this thing causing pain in other places? And I'll give you an example of how to go about it. You will agree with me that if 400,000 Nigerians are the only Nigerians that have access to phone out of 90 million Nigerians, it's a problem if you go to other countries and half their population, or almost all their population, have access to phones. You agree? Now, that was our case up to 2002. So we have to enter a room and ask ourselves, why is it in Nigeria, right, only 400,000 of us will have phone? Meantime, if I go to Republic of Benin, half of them have phone. And then you start breaking down the reasons why. And having broken down the reasons why, you have to come up with a way forward. And usually, you don't even have to reinvent the wheel. How come Benin? What did Benin do to have phone? What did Congo do to have phone? What did South Africa do to have phone? And then you come up with a game plan. Then you also ask an important question. What type of people did they bring into the system to implement this, whether at the leadership level and so on? So we just come up with a simple game plan to address pain points. That's all Nigeria has to do. Now, isn't it that simple? The more I speak to this, the more you must then understand that our problem is not knowing what to do. Our problem is getting ourselves to agree to do it. Nephew, you are nodding your head. I'll stop there because it's not really, but you get the point. It's not, you know. Now, I'll tell you something interesting. The profit motive, right, in the private sector allows us to overcome these differences, allows us to seek this trust because we want to make profit. Okay? But government, which by the way is the enabler of that profit, we don't seem to be able to do it well when it comes to that. Our leaders are also a problem, but anyway. Ebun coconut that you must send to me. When I'm recruiting, am I looking for integrity or capacity? Let me tell you something interesting. Do you agree with me that the capacity to, there are two institutions in the world where, right, if you put the word, you put the name on top of on a signboard, okay? Two institutions in the world. People are ready to hand over their most trusted assets into the hands of the people who represent the institution that carries that signboard. Do you know what they are? School and bank. Think about it. How many of you in the schools that your kids are, or in the schools you went, did your parents know anybody in the school before you were put there? And yet, they let you go there at 7:45 a.m. and 2 p.m. come and get you. Between 7:45 and 2 p.m., they trust those people completely, correct? Okay. Now, banking is similar. All right? They put bank. Ariwayo said he said something about Access Bank. He just put all his money there, and then that of 100 people, put. Okay? Because you saw bank. Now, don't you assume integrity in those institutions? Without integrity, is it possible that you fulfill that promise? So what I want you to think about is that most roles in life that are important, integrity is embedded in your ability to deliver. And when you lack integrity, it means that you will not deliver. So Integrity is as integral a test to me as to whether you have the technical ability. At least as far as things like banking, education, medicine. In fact, I'm looking for maybe sports. Maybe sports is the one that, maybe sports, because in one team, Liverpool, they have one man that likes to bite ears, another, so maybe, I don't know. 3 habits. Habit 1, learning. Don't stop learning. Learning. Linked to habit 1, which is learning, okay, the most effective learning for me is by people who have been there and done it, which is mentors. So this is habit 2, your network. The most valuable asset of any entrepreneur, all right, is what they know, what they've learned. The second most valuable asset is who they know. And by who they know, I'm not talking about big man. No. Okay, it doesn't hurt to have some big men in there or big women too. Okay, but more importantly, all right, all of us have relationships with other people. In your relationships with other people, you are going to have people who enable you, and you are going to have people who disable you. Great entrepreneurs are people who know how to access enablers. And habit 3, okay? Habit 3, this one works for me. This is as an entrepreneur, okay? All right? Particularly in this our own land, be prayerful. This our own land, be prayerful. And then Ariwayo, I can't answer your question because it's not for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ike. So the 3 habits: learning, to make it maybe a bit easier to remember; linking, so it's important that that connectivity is there. I think the third one is about being prayerful. And what is prayer? What is loving your God? Is love. So I always try and look for words that help me remember. So for you guys, learning, linking, and loving. I think that loving humanity, loving God, loving people around you, your community, and so on and so forth. What can I say? Now, before we end, I'm just going to do some rapid fire questions that I came up with 5 minutes ago, just so that we also see another side of Ibuji that we maybe haven't seen or heard. So rapid fire, you just answer. Football or golf?
Football.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Homebody or party animal?
Homebody.
Saver or spender?
Investor.
I like that. I like that. Suit or agbada?
Agbada. Well.
Books or TV?
TV.
Books or TV?
TV.
Dodo or yam? Difficult, with pepper sauce.
Yam.
Can we all give Mr. Ibuji a round of applause? And before I thank him personally myself, I want to commit from myself, not from the LSCTF, copies of his book, Taking Off from the Tarmac, to all the staff of LSCTF. Every single one of you from me. So Hakeem will arrange that for each of you to get a copy of that very, very inspiring and insightful book. Ike, my brother, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Do we have the photographs?
Can I have my board members join me?
Can we have board members join Sadishola on stage? Sorry, and of course, the Honorable Commissioner as well. Yes.
Okay. You want us to pose? Okay. All right.
You can just flank them.
Brilliantly. What a clue. So you are going to address his problem.
I would personally recommend Mr. I. Imokwede's book, Living the Tarmac, Buying a Bank in Africa. Many say that biographies are time machines. It will take you back and inspire you, no doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Wasn't that an inspiring session? It's always a joy to listen to those who have done it, been there. Always valuable insights. So we'll take, Teju will respond to Mr. Ariwayo's comments.
Good afternoon, and thank you again. Mr. Ariwayo, thank you for your question. In particular, we really recall your matter. We are aware, we remember. What you asked us to do at that time was basically to lend to you as a block or as an association, where you were going to provide the guarantee to all the women that you wanted to further lend to. And we explained at that time that we at LSCTF don't lend to blocks or to cooperatives or to associations, whether to lend to other people. We engaged you, and I recall that we have a letter where the liaison officer came back to you that, look, if you provide all the individual names of the women and you let them go through the process, we are able to immediately assess them, take them through our process, and lend to them if they qualify. As of today, we haven't heard back from you. My understanding is the liaison officer is also been looking for you to actually take up the matter so that we can conclude it. Because it's in our interest that those women get the loans as quickly as possible. Thank you very much. Further to his question, he asked how many people have we lent to. Over the years, we've lent over 8 billion naira to over 12,000 MSMEs that are listed on our website with the details. We do not take it for granted. We are audited annually to make sure that all our loan processes, all our beneficiaries are listed. So we don't lend directly, always remember that, sir. We lend through banks that have not just their own integrity to also protect, but the funds that we lend to beneficiaries. I'm happy to engage you further and see how we can take this conversation further. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you to everyone for your kind contributions and also for using your voice to have your issues heard. So without any further ado, I'd like to, first of all, how's everybody feeling? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being terrible, 10, 9, 11. Okay, that's really wonderful to hear. So 10s, 9s, 11s, that's great. So it's been a very eventful day, and we've come to the end of it, unfortunately or fortunately. Please allow me to invite Mr. Sam Egube, who is the Honorable Commissioner at the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget at Lagos State. So Mr. Sam Egube, Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Finance. Sorry, Excuse me. Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, Lagos State. Excuse me. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I feel very excited to have reached this moment in the conference. I must say that if you allow me, please stand on existing protocols. Is that okay? Several things have happened during the course of the conference. We learned just now about learning, linking, and loving. You know, this fire chat was the icing on the cake for all of us. I think we need to give a round of applause to Ike Imokwede. And if our chairperson did not ask the right question, of course, she will not pull out. So another round of applause for our chairperson, Mrs. Bola Adeshola. So as I said, I thoroughly enjoyed every session, and from your rating of the conference so far, I know that you also have enjoyed it. There was a lot to take away. I'd like to say that the sessions were recorded, and we have also documented them. You can find the recording on the conference website. So it's not over yet for those of you who still want to refer to some of the thoughts discussed during the course of the conference. We learned quite a bit, and some of my notes, you could see that talent was a major problem in an environment where unemployment is high, in fact, very high. And therefore, we need to do something about it. Training is required, and we need training both in the quality and in the size of the training which we deploy. And in this case, quality really means an alignment between what training outcomes should be and what the industry requirements are. We did say that good training is not exclusive to formal training, but it includes also informal forms of learning. And we did mention the apprenticeship system. And today I actually found out that there were 3 different forms of apprentice systems between the North, the West, and the East. To scale, it is important for us to be able to scale. And as we work on the the development plan for Lagos, it's clear to us that most of the businesses are micro businesses. And there's a significant impact if you can transit micro businesses to small businesses who employ under 50 people. So we must do what is required to be able to scale. And to scale includes to formalize the business, to digitize the business. And as someone in government, I was quite excited to hear that taxation is an indication for formalization. But we also need to use alternative forms of training and develop people, giving them different forms of skills. To allow scale to occur, we discussed the idea that it is much easier, we need to make it much easier to do business in Lagos, so that the businesses can grow and they can employ more people. In other words, we should not come only just as regulators from the government side, but also as facilitators. So participation, formalization is required for development and improved employment outcomes. But it was mentioned severally that one of the big challenges we have is the issues around trust. And we must therefore figure out a way of arranging ourselves to build trust between government and the private sector, so that participation and collaboration for development will occur. We are therefore encouraged to go get our PVC, isn't it? To go register and participate in determining what the face of government looks like. Some people say, no, we cannot do that because we do not trust. And I said we need to take that big leap of faith because integrity must be assumed in the process of making that choice. For me, one of the biggest for me during the conference is the fact that we saw a lot of what people are doing. You know, generally we hear a lot of what people and government is not doing. But we saw examples from one session to another session as to what people are doing, rather than a conversation about what people are not doing. What it meant to me was that light is not always the absence of darkness, but rather the one we switch on is the one we really experience. We did learn that we need to learn to tell a story, a different story that describes our success story while we work on what we like to have. It's indeed a wholesome and rewarding conference, and I'm happy to work with LSETF as the Ministry of Economic Planning and our partners to make this happen. I would like to acknowledge Mr. Governor, Mr. Deputy Governor, and cabinet members, including members of the Lagos State House of Assembly that came to honor and grace this very successful conference. I'd like to acknowledge the LSETF board, which is led by my big sister, my boss of many years, Mrs. Bola Adeshola. I'd like to especially also recognize Ronald Shagoni for his input into this conference. The team at MEPB, MEPB means the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. I'd like to acknowledge all of you who also supported and are all here. I cannot forget the steering committee who have worked day and night. And I would like the steering committee to just come join me on stage, because we keep saying steering committee. Who are these people that are creating so much value for all of us to enjoy? And we can't see their faces all the time. Or when we see their faces, we do not know that they are the engine. Come up. And please, let's welcome them on stage with a big clap acknowledgement. They've worked tirelessly. They are a team of very young people. Bola Adeshola said the average age is probably about 20-something. And by the way, Ms. Bola Adeshola, I just told her that I was also a staff of LSTF, so that when you buy that book, I will be... I would really like to acknowledge all of you. Please, let's clap again. Let's clap again. This is a star-studded team. When you look at them, you won't know how much star is in them except when you see what you have experienced. They said on a scale of 1 to 10, how did you enjoy this conference? You said 11. That is thinking without a box. Thank you very much. So what will the next steps be? We are going to publish the report, and we are spending a lot of time to focus on the quality of report. This is not meant to just be a talk shop. No, still stay, please. Please stay. If standing is too difficult, you have earned your right to sit down. We will publish this report. It is not going to be just a talk shop. We shall report back to the next conference as to what we did with all the ideas that we have harvested and mined in the course of this very, very productive and fruitful conference. We are also going to follow it shortly with a string of roundtable conversations, right? Because we need to continue to feed you back in the various smaller groups as to what we are doing. Because in Lagos State, we believe that you cannot understand the problem of the world with one eyes. When Mr. Governor was campaigning, he did say, when Lagos speaks, Sanwo-Olu listens. You've all gathered today to speak and throughout this conference to speak, and to show that we listened indeed, we must come back to you to tell you what we are doing around the conversations. But I'd like to remind all of us that one of the big points we concluded was that it was not just government action alone. It's going to be all of us acting together to deliver outcomes that benefit every one of us. So I would just like to say thank you very much. You can take a bow. And we look forward to seeing you again at the next conference. God bless you.
Can we have this microphone working?
That's okay. Okay, it's working.
Well,
Awesome.
there you have it. I think from the applause, from the reactions, no doubt it has been a valuable 2 days. Thank you again to everyone for coming. Any last words from you?
No, I mean, I think this was great. Thank you so much for being such a great audience, and we look forward to bridging this unemployment issue that we've been discussing for the past 2 days.
Indeed, and we look forward to having you at the next event, Safe Travels Home. And if I can just say one more thing, I wonder how many of us observe how many women are involved in the LS ETF. I think that should tell you something. It's something to engage. Obviously, nothing is perfect, but we work through all the challenges. But I have certainly enjoyed interacting with the team.
Me
and one
too.
thing I can say is that there is that genuine desire to make impact.
change,
So
yeah.
please make the most of that opportunity as you engage them.
Great.
I know what from you.
Thank you. My name is Lele Balde. It's been a pleasure being your co-host, and I
And
look
I've been
forward to
Wale.
seeing you again soon.
Been Wale Famrewa, Safe Travels.
Abe! No, we are going to use it. Are we not going to use this one?
This one for now.
For the dinner.
Milk.